Let's be real for a second. Have you ever been at your 9 to 5, looked at the clock, and just thought, this can't be it? That slow, steady climb up the ladder, it just isn't going to cut it. Well, today, we are breaking down a practical, no-fluff blueprint for building a serious side income while you're still working your day job. And look, this isn't some get-rich-quick thing. It's a get-financially-free strategy. You know, the whole strategy we're diving into today, it really starts with this one kind of scary realization. In the world we live in now, having all your financial eggs in one basket, your one job, is a massive, massive gamble. Now, that's not to freak you out, but it's important to understand the problem we're about to solve. But okay, from that scary thought, we're going to pivot immediately to a very, very real reward. The goal here isn't just a little extra pizza money for the weekend. We're talking about a consistent, potentially life-changing $5,000 a month. That right there, that's the target this whole blueprint is aiming for. And that feeling of being trapped, it's so real. You might feel totally undervalued, just waiting around for that tiny 3% annual raise, and then you realize, wait a minute, this traditional corporate ladder might not actually lead to the freedom I want. That's the trap, and we're about to map out the escape route. So where do we even begin? Well, phase one starts with a really crucial and honestly a kind of counterintuitive shift in how you think. It's about letting go of that classic advice, follow your passion, and instead getting laser focused on what people will actually pay you to do. This question. This is it. This is the one that stops so many amazing people right in their tracks. I mean, it can feel totally overwhelming, right? But what if the answer is way simpler than you think? What if it's just about looking at the problem from a different angle? And this right here, this lays out that new angle perfectly. See, on one side, you've got your hobbies. They're awesome, but they don't always pay the bills. But on the other side, that's where the money is. We're talking about specialized digital services that solve a really painful problem for a market that is just starving for a solution. Think about things like creating automated spreadsheets for small businesses, or managing social media for real estate agents, or even ghostwriting for executives. These are things people desperately need and are more than willing to pay for. Okay, so let's say you've found that profitable gap in the market. Awesome. Now we're in phase two, and this is where we tackle the single biggest roadblock for anyone with a day job: time. You might think you need, 8 hours a day to build a business? Well, the good news is you absolutely do not. This is what we call the power hour method. It's all about splitting your limited time into these super strategic blocks. So 1 hour in the morning for that deep, focused work, actually building your service. Then you have another hour in the evening for the businessy stuff, talking to clients and finding new ones. That's it, just 2 focused hours a day. And here's the crazy reason why this 2-hour strategy works so well. It all comes down to this powerful psychological idea called Parkinson's law. Basically, it just means that work will stretch out to fill whatever time you give it. So if you give yourself 8 hours, it'll take 8 hours. But if you only give yourself 1, wow, you become incredibly focused, incredibly efficient. That time crunch becomes your secret superpower. Of course, knowing the strategy is one thing, but actually doing it is another. The mindset you need to make this work is all about this: discipline over motivation. Look, motivation is great, but it comes and goes. It's totally unreliable. But building the discipline to show up for those 2 golden hours every single day, that's what separates the people who succeed from the people who just keep dreaming about it. So once you've built that discipline, it's time for phase 3, starting lean and smart. A huge mistake people make is thinking they need a business loan or some fancy software. Forget all of that. The goal here is simple. Get to your first $1,000 in revenue with absolutely zero financial risk. And check out how simple this can be. You can use free tools like Canva for any design stuff you need. You can use LinkedIn to find your very first clients. And most importantly, you're just using the skills you already have. You have everything you need to start, like right now. So let's get really clear on this. Forget about that 5-figure-a-month goal for just a minute. Your one and only mission at the beginning is to make your very first $1,000. That's it. That's the proof that this works. That's the milestone that makes this whole thing feel real. And once you hit that first milestone, what do you do with that cash? You don't go buy a fancy new logo or a premium website. No way. You reinvest it strategically into automation. You buy tools and systems that buy back your most valuable asset, your time. All right, now for the final and maybe most critical phase, scaling. This is where so many people go wrong. They get stuck in the trap of busyness instead of building a true business. The key is to make a fundamental shift in your head from being the one who does all the work to being the one who manages the workflow. This might be the most important mindset shift in this entire breakdown. A second job is just you trading more of your time for more money. And that, my friends, is a one-way ticket to burnout. A real business, on the other hand, is about building systems and leveraging other people so it can grow without you having to do every single little task. That is the path to real freedom. Here's a super practical example of that shift in action. Let's say your time is most valuable when you're on sales calls, bringing in business, worth, say, over $100 an hour. Well, you can hire a virtual assistant for maybe $15 an hour to handle your email and scheduling. See, this doesn't cost you money. It literally makes you money because it frees you up to focus on the things that actually grow the business. That's how you scale. And when you zoom out, this is what it's all about. Let your day job be that stable foundation. Let it pay the bills, take the pressure off. But let your side business be the thing you build, piece by piece, to buy back your time, your choices, your freedom. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. Forget about the money for a second. If you had true freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, what would you do with it? What is the very first thing you would buy? Not with your money, but with your freedom. Really think about that.